We got David Waters on the line from Gators Breakdown. Hey, David, how are you doing?
Good, Mark. How about you?
Good. And appreciate you stopping by as always.
Oh, yeah.
And let's see. I got a long list for you. You ready for this?
Let's go.
Gators have been off the field for quite a while, but still a lot of things going on. Saw some things online concerning 2022 quarterback Nick Evers, signed or actually committed about a month ago. He's going to the Elite 11 finals. And I know Florida fans are just happy to have him in the fold. He's a guy that really shot up the charts, didn't he? Just recently, if we're only looking maybe 9 to 10 months down the line, his best offer at one point was Kansas. And then a lot of teams came after him a little bit later in the process. And of course, he's got another season to play at the high school level, but going to the Elite 11 finals.
Yeah, big pickup for him. He's been really shining in these Texas camps out there. And for the last month, as soon as he committed to Florida, camps started happening. And he, as you said, Mark, just kind of rose through the ranks a little bit. And look, a lot of Gator fans, and I tried to explain it to them, like, we can, and we're guilty of this on Gators Breakdown a whole lot. We can criticize recruiting a bit with the way it's happening at Florida. Probably not, it's not terrible by any means, but probably still not where it should be if you want to compete with an Alabama year in and year out. And, a lot of teams want to be in that position. But still, if there's one position that I'm not really going to criticize Dan Mullen about, is going to go get a quarterback. And I don't care if it was a 2-star, I don't care if it was a 3-star, I don't care if 4-star, 5-star. If Dan Mullen wants a quarterback, I'm going to trust him with his reputation of developing quarterbacks and getting the best out of them. Whoever he wants, that should be A-okay with any Gator fan. So, look, it's kind of just been proven that, they went and scouted this guy, and now everybody else is kind of playing catch up. And you see Nick Evers starting to rise through the ranks a little bit. And Mark, it really came about when Brian Johnson left, the offensive coordinator, quarterback coach for Florida, took an NFL job. And then Garrett McGee got promoted to the quarterback coach role. Dan Mullen's going to be, still for the most part was offensive coordinator, play caller for the Gators in 2020 as well. But he'll play that role again in this upcoming season. But when that quarterback coach change happened, Florida's board shifted a little bit for who they wanted to go and get at quarterback. Ja'Cory Brown was a big time dual threat quarterback out of Valdosta. Florida kind of just moved on from him a bit and really went and targeted Nick Evers out of Texas. So, maybe he can replicate the Texas quarterback that's just leaving and getting prepared for the NFL draft the next week in Kyle Trask. So, he's ever shooting up the board, and he'll be on campus, Mark, that big first June 4th weekend. We're in college or high school prospects will be making their first on-campus official visits and unofficial visits coming up with the dead period ending. He'll be on campus that very first weekend he's able to in Gainesville.
3 other commits just since the last time we talked to you, which was about a month ago. Just wanted to get your take on a few guys here. We got the 51st rated wide receiver in the country, Sivion Ellis. He's out of Miami, 50th rated player in the state. Big guy at 6'5", 220.
Yeah, Mullen's had a reputation throughout his whole career of liking big-bodied wide receivers. And look, you're not going to replicate what a Kyle Pitts did for you in 2020, that hybrid role. But, in the future, look, Florida's going to have guys who they try and probably ask to do some of those things. But from now on, the way it's probably going to be put out there is, tight ends will be more asked to do what tight ends are doing, and wide receivers will be asked to do what wide receivers are going to do. Kyle Pitts was a unicorn. Kyle Pitts was unique. You're not going to get guys who can do that every year, who can play the tight end role, who can play the wide receiver role. So, when you go get these big-bodied wide receivers, you're going to ask that big-body wide receiver to be the receiving threat that Kyle Pitts was. You're not going to ask him to play inline tight end and go block 10 times a game, but you're going to ask him to go replicate some of those catches that Kyle Pitts made. And even that's going to be hard. That's how special that, Kyle Pitts is going, probably top 10 in next week's NFL draft. So, these big body wide receivers, Florida, and a lot of it depends on what style of offense Florida's going to run as well, Mark. When they go that dual threat quarterback run, and starting to run a lot more than they pass. They ask their wide receivers to block a whole lot. Now, it's one reason I think they like these big-bodied wide receivers to help in the run game, to help on these sweeps and these reverses. And when running backs pop runs on the outside, downfield blocking from these wide receivers. So LSU, fits very, very good in that mold for a more traditional of a Dan Mullen offense.
Got a couple of products out of Tampa. Got an offensive tackle, highest rated player in the class as it stands right now in Tony Livingston, 18th rated player out of Florida. And you got another tight end here in CJ Hawkins. He also out of Tampa, 35th rated tight ends. So a couple other guys.
Those guys is just, where, they don't have a lot of experience. You have kind of an offensive lineman, tight end roles. That's kind of what they're kind of just maybe figuring out through high school and college. That's kind of what's going on there. So, we'll see. As I said, you're not necessarily going to ask, tight ends to be Kyle Pitts down the road. So we'll see how that goes, whether they transition from tight end to offensive line. That's kind of just where those guys stand right now.